Oh, look at that beautiful work, man. And MMOXP, we all know, is the greatest website right now for coins. Team of the season is here. Get acquainted with my code META. That's code META for the best meta cards. Team of the season is near, not just 8% off, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. For instance, if you purchase 30 million coins, you get an additional 4.5 million coins. So they have a added bonus when purchasing coins. That's why MMOXP is the GOATs. Now, if you also check their page out, they do have giveaways, so go check the description out right now. Yes, get it. Brodies, boom. We do have another formation tactic video. I love doing these videos before the initial release of a new promo week. You know, like I think today is MLS and Saudi, if I'm not mistaken, so Ronaldo and Messi. People are still going to be playing. Fair enough. Tell me what you guys have packed as well. I've got this cheeky little Rafinha insane card, man. And he can only play wing, so I was like, might as well try and look for the best 4-3-3, like a winger formation, you know, a traditional approach. I love a traditional approach of like a 4-3-3, whether that be the attacking, the defensive one. Obviously, quick disclaimer now, it's always advisable to have two CDMs in this game, because obviously they track back, they track the cutbacks, and they essentially trigger quickly, I feel like, when it comes to intercepting and stuff, as opposed to the CMs. But you can actually, now with the improved stats and like stamina and stuff, you can have a little bit of press, you can have a little bit of you know, a balance, I'd say, of the approach with CMs. And obviously now we are playing team of the season and everyone's cards is insane, so it only makes sense. I feel like this formation is perfect. You know, why not actually have a more offensive formation where you don't really have too much safety to the point where it's like stagnant, if that makes sense. So let's jump over to the actual tactics. Now with the tactics, obviously I leave the code in the comments, pin comment, please do check that out. Don't just ask me in the comments, Mike, where's the code, bro? I'm gonna slap you, bro. Okay, yeah, sorry, that's a little bit too aggressive. Nonetheless, though, don't just copy and paste the code, please, boys. See what I have to say with the formation. Like, normally with the formations, right, I test these formations out. I don't just release formations. That's why you don't just see me saying, oh, post-patch, like every 3 times a week. You know, I actually test these formations out, and I was trying to find a very nice median type of vibe with the 4-3-3, and I like the flat. I cannot lie, I like the flat. But as I said, it's advisable to go with at least a CDM. So if you don't really think that you're that good at defending, I'd say go 4-3-3/2. I think is an ideal approach. You could even go 4-3-3, the one with the 2 CDMs and then the CM. Kind of like the 4-1 or the 4-2-1-3. It's just that one is a CM instead of a cam. So yeah, that one's actually very OP. But the 4-3-3, I feel like it's just perfect in terms of like just playing some fluid football, man, at the end of the day. Speaking of fluid football, though, short passing technique is such a vital thing in my game. It's such a good component. Now, if you're one that likes to trigger runs, it's going to be ideal. And if you don't like it, you better learn it now, bro. Short passing is indeed insane, especially post-patch. So this, how you basically trigger it is you hold down LB, right? Obviously L1 on PlayStation when you are passing. So that'd be whether that be like attacking. So even if you're just trying to get out of tight situations, trust me, holding down L1 on PlayStation and passing triggers the run so much faster, and it essentially makes the AI movement like so much better. So yeah, defensive approach is going to be 70. I always run it at 70. Obviously now with the 90 plus. High defensive approach being nerfed, you know, stamina depletion and that, I do think 70 is literally the perfect balance of having press, but not too much press to the point where there's gaps, if that makes sense. So yeah, hopefully you boys know the deal. Now we do have a very interesting approach when it comes to the defenders, right? So goalkeeper completely up to you. I have Vanja Milinkovic-Savic, insane, might I add. He has defend. Now a lot of yous probably do have balanced on focus, because essentially that's like the AI doing it for you, coming out when he needs to. But I like to bring my keeper out myself and then move him. You know, I like to be more manual with my goalkeeper movement, so I have him on defend only. Now with the fullbacks, right, you actually have to have them at defend, because as I said, you don't have CDMs in this formation, so having fullbacks on defend has that extra safety mechanism, if that makes sense. And also very, very important, the CMs are actually situated a little bit wide from what I like situated them. So they actually have that defensive thing where like the fullbacks kind of lack. So you can see with the graph, right, if you got bronze or anybody in that fullback plus role, they're going to situate themselves, especially if you put it on defend, very much deep. So something like mine, right, actually kind of, how can I explain, picks up where the fullback slack, if that makes sense. So yeah, essentially is very, very OP when you do that with the CMs. So yeah, fullback definitely on defend, Gosens and bronze. Obviously the two, it's very, very OP as well, by the way, if you have plus plus. Trust me, it's just, it's a given now. Everyone has plus plus, especially with the amount of roles and stuff EA are adding. Yeah. Now, the most important thing with this formation is probably the CMs. You need to have very good CMs, bro. Trust me, you need to have one big bodied CM, someone that can intercept, more of the interceptor. So someone like a Root Hullet in this position that plays deep lying and defend. Or you could even say Root Hullet can play out wide, like where Mino is. And then Reinders could be someone like a... I'm trying to think of like a Rice, someone like a... Probably that new Benton Core 96, you know, someone a little bit more lanky, if that makes sense. Because essentially they're going to pick up the ball. And sometimes they can actually jump over to attack if they need to. So overall though, I love to have Reinders which can do everything. Pretty much sitting very, very deep with the deep lying defend. And yeah, what I noticed with all three CMs is they work in harmony, bro. Like no matter what you have here, they are very close, compact. It's kind of like they have the insane chemistry to know when to attack, know when to defend. That's why I love this formation. It's very, very OP. And then we obviously have the more offensive CM. So someone like a... You could say Xavi. I always like to say someone like a Beckham, Andrea Pirlo, that basically does everything, but most of the time offensively inclined. And as you can see, playmaker roaming. Now, bear in mind, they need to have at least somewhat decent stamina because they're going to be everywhere where the ball is. So someone like a Caroline Weah, probably not the greatest card, I'll be honest, under the sun, but she's everywhere, bro. Literally like everywhere, and she has the playmaker plus. So roaming is such a vital thing right here because this is also where it's going to be like the pivotal CM where essentially you trigger the runs and they're going to be there every time to lay the ball off. So someone like her is perfect. And then obviously Kobe Mainu is the second kind of like CDM, CM that ball wins, you know, intercepts, picks up slack, drops deep when he needs to, but not too deep to the point where it's like the defender one. But you could argue actually, no, he could be one of the more deeper characters, if that makes sense. So someone like trying to think, someone that just has holding plus, more of a defensive inclined, you know. So yeah, at least have one CM that can at least turn, you know, that's more offensively inclined like Weah, and then you should be good to go. Now with the wingers as well, inside forward is always a good tactic as well because it's so close, compact, especially if I'm playing the build-up style of... the build-up style of short passing. Having inside forward, essentially they act as lamb, so they can come back a little bit. Even if you look at the graph right there, I'll show you. They collect the ball, do you know what I mean? And then trigger runs and stuff. Like for instance, you'll check Ribéry, he actually slots into where like Weah and stuff is, you know, to do those quick 1-2s and then quickly attack. That's why I like this formation so much. And yeah, very, very nice. And obviously advanced forward for the striker, plus. And then yeah, pretty much roaming. Now, if you feel like it's not really that defensive, you could essentially play it unbalanced. But at the end of the day, man, you could maybe have one unbalanced because then you would actually pick up slack for the flanks sometimes. So overall, though, I feel like there's no point, man. You might as well just have the two wingers absolutely like desecrating the other defense with the roaming. So yeah, roaming also essentially like triggers wherever the ball is, they'll be there, if that makes sense. So sometimes Ribéry, you'll even see him like coming even to the central cam slot, which is always nice because then you at least have that extra person to pass to, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's jump into an actual game. I'll showcase how this formation is. By the way, sorry if I am very, very extensive or like I speak so much about the formations and stuff. I just feel like it's perfect, you know, like trying to find ways to, you know, maneuver around this game, especially if everyone uses the same thing. I hate when that happens, man. Like in this game, you gotta... That's what Ultimate Team was made for, you know? To change up specific players, not have the same thing. But I do understand if you want to obviously win games, you have to have the same thing. But yeah, we do almost score first goal. Can you see, though, what I was saying with the inside forward? We got Rafinha cutting in to obviously get some damage done. Okay, Gosens does beautifully. We'll pass one down. I don't know why I just passed that. I could have just easily shot that, unfortunately. Oh, beautiful stuff from Thierry Henry to obviously quickly advance forward. That's literally what he does. And then De Gea saves that. The De Gea card is insane. I've been saying it, bro. Insane. Oh my word, Thierry Henry with through the legs, bro, of De Gea. De Gea, close your legs, brother. Beautiful stuff from Rangers picking up the slack. But as you can see, deep lying, staying, you know, in that safety mechanism. But then also offering some offensive support, you know, which is nice. Beautiful pass to Ribéry as well. Oh, unfortunately, I was going to trigger those short passing techniques, man. I need to show you how to do that, boys. It's literally just holding down LB on Xbox, L1 on PlayStation. And essentially, it just triggers the passes much, much more elegantly, you could say. Like I'll show you right now. That's one to Mainu. That's another one to, obviously, Rafinha. Insane card, by the way. One down again. Reinders is there. Oh, unfortunately, doesn't do well with the pass. Beautiful work from Vea that actually comes back to pick up slack. We're going to do the 1-2s. And then we do score our second goal. Do you see what I'm saying with the short passing, though? Boys, get cracking on with the short passing, please. Now, that was beautiful stuff from Ribéry to, obviously, Thierry Henry. Just beautifully worked from the Frenchman. And I think this guy is gone, bro. If he's gone, then that's perfect. Cannot lie. Oh, that was a dumb defensive mistake from my part. Obviously, he was putting more press. I think he's paused twice. I don't know what he was doing to try and get that goal back. But yeah, Rafinha, GG's, bro. Ball roll. And unfortunately, don't get the goal. Bro, this De Gea, by the way. I mean, are you guys checking this? Oh, my days. Now, if you don't know what's OP in terms of, like, you know, offensively, definitely learn how to pace boost, bro. So it's basically holding down L1. Like this, and then absolutely holding down the right trigger, which is obviously R2. So if timed correctly, like you see, holding down L1 and then obviously R2 to sprint, it does so well to get off opponents because it's so OP, you know. But let's do the 1-2s technique. I mean, look at the 1-2s, bro. Like, they just work so beautifully in harmony, man. What a goal as well. Let's go Rafinha, bro. What a card. Oh, look at that beautiful work, man. And we're gonna driven. That's GG's from this guy. I don't think he'll come back. Oh my word, that was insane in terms of like those movements, you know. One thing about this formation, I'm gonna say, probably the last thing I'll say is sometimes the striker can be isolated. That's why you have the obviously inside forward, you know, to trigger, and the players obviously cut inside and stuff. And there we have it, finally. This guy quits. I mean, please do not be like those other guys. Just do not quit, bro. For no reason, you know? But that's going to be the game. That was in Champs, by the way. Yes, sir. The 4-3-3, my friends, is back. It's indeed back. Tell me if you're going to use this formation, though. I'll catch you boys in the next one, man. And yeah, 4-3-3. If you obviously want a little bit more of a defensive approach, go 4-3-3-2. And it'll still be similar. Catch you boys in the next one. Have a sweet one. Peace.